the test, here's the option if you was absent. Okay, so for today, symbol interest. We talk about interest is that before we do further, I just want to check in to see where you are with percentage and if you change to decimal. What do I mean by that? So I'm going to do number 1 as an example, and then I'm going to ask you spend the next like a minute or so convert percentage to decimal, because it's really important we know how to do this, because the rest of the week and next week, everything we work with the percentage, we need to convert it to decimal. So if I 35%, the decimal would be 0.35. We did that before, but I find that some of you not sure how to convert it. So let's check in. So take like a minute or so, do the next 3, and then we'll go from there. Okay. All right. So that's good. The link. Okay. Here. All right. So for this one, I think we're doing okay. Here's a trick that you can do to change to a decimal, right? What you can do is you move to the left to number 1, 2, so that's going to be 0.10. If you're good with that, then that's fine. Otherwise, just take the number, divide by 100, that will give you a decimal. As simple as that, right? 10 divided by 100 gives you 0.10. Or you can do just 0.1, same thing. Now for number 3, I keep saying this is the one that most likely you're going to make a mistake. The answer for this one is 0.08, not 0.8. They're not the same. 0.8 meaning 80%. Okay, so be very careful. If you're not sure, take the values. You can do 8 divided by 100, and that will give you 0.08. If you cannot convert it by moving the space, the unit to unit over, then I will take the number and divide by 100, because here when you 1 unit, you have to do 2 units, right? When you do this, there's nothing here, so that means that's a 0. 75 is 0.75, which is fine. It seems that from the work that I looked at, you guys doing okay for 2 and 4. Some make a mistake for 3. So be very careful when you convert percentage to decimal, because we need it. When we talk about interest, we're going to talk about rate, the loans, and we're going to use percentage, and they will give you percentage, and you need to change a decimal. All right. So you want to take a picture, do so, but I'm recording this as well. I will share the video at the end of the day. This should be in the notes folder. It's in chapter 5. So I know some of you, your internet doesn't work, and sometimes it's slow. Sometimes you cannot hear me clearly. That's fine. When you have a chance, you can watch the video. Okay, symbol interest. What is symbol interest, right? Symbol interest is when you take out a loan, and what you do is, so when you take out a loan, it's based on the principal amount, and then we're going to talk about what is the principal amount of a loan. Or the first deposit in a saving account. When you have a saving account, does any of you have like a bank account? Does any of you have a bank account? So for bank account, Yes. Yes. Okay. So if you have a bank account, is it say checking account or is that saying saving account? Saving. So if you have a saving account, that does mean you're gonna earn some sort of extra money, which is we call the interest. So saving account is the interest, is the extra money that you earn from the saving account, or for the loan, you have to pay. So you earn or pay, depend on which one are we talking about. You take out a loan, we pay. If we have a saving account, then that's what we earn. Okay, so the money that you earn is very little for the saving account, very little. So you want to earn more. If you think about like make a CDs, the other program that you can do that will help you like stocks and all of those things, you will earn more with interest. But saving, the checking account doesn't have it. So here's the thing: the simple interest means depend on what you put in the bank, or depend on what you take out as a loan. You only pay the interest at once. You don't, it's not accumulate, it's not gonna like regenerate. So what you do, the first amount that you put in, whatever the amount that you put in, the interest will always based on that same amount. Not gonna change anything. So if you put in $1,000, they always calculate the interest based on that $1,000. In a couple of days, we'll look at compound. Compound means the amount that you're going to calculate your interest will keep changing, depend on the plan that you chose. We'll talk more about that. It's more confusing, but right now, let's say if you take out a loan of 1,000 and the rate is 3%. So that means that what they do, doesn't matter how long you take out the loan, they always go back and say 3% of 1,000 is, and then you're going to pay that amount, keep paying the same thing, okay? But the compound, which we talk about it later, is not going to be the same. The principal, the amount, the initial values keep changing depending on the plan. Okay, so this makes more sense later, but right now, just think about you take out a loan, or you put in deposit in a bank account. You have 1,000 or 500, whatever the amount. They will pay you interest, or you pay them interest, depending on which one are we talking about. So here is the so if you look in here, okay, so it is the money that you earn on a saving account or an investment. It can be a money that you pay for borrowing money. So here is the equation that we're going to use. The one that we have is right here. I'm going to write it bigger so you can see. Okay. For each of the letter, so I stand for interest, P stand for principal, R, this is R, stand for rate, and T stand for time. The simple interest is in money, the principal is in money, the rate is in percent, the time is in year, in month, in day. Okay? So what is the principal? Principal is the initial amount. The simple interest, this one is the amount that you will pay. So if you are taking out a loan for $20,000 as a student, and then after you graduate from college, you're gonna pay that amount plus some interest, and that interest is calculated by I. Why they use I instead of, because I stand for interest. Yes. P, principal or the initial amount, R stands for rate, T stands for time. So if you have this formula. We're going to use this. We're going to plug it in. Remember how you do permutation and combination? There's the formula, and we're going to recognize them. We're going to plug in using the same, whichever the letter that we don't have, that's the one we're going to solve for. Okay? So let's try some example. All right, so this is the equation that we have, the simple interest. Sorry, I already put on the top, so you don't have to copy right here, right? I equal PRT. So we're going to identify, we're going to read the problem, we're going to identify which one are we solving for, which one do we have, and which one is missing. So you put $100 in a saving account. So I'm going to highlight some info. You put 100. The account earns 6% simple interest per year. So here's a couple of things. The question was asking find the interest, and then it was asking to find the balance at the end of 6 months. Okay. So here is what we're gonna do. We need to figure out the interest. So here's the interest. We know the interest is I, right? That's what we don't have. This, they ask you to find the interest. Now, we can identify this one, the 6%. This is the rate, or the R. Okay. The times that they have is 6 months, which is the T, because they tell you it's going to be 6 months. And then for the 100, you put it in. You started it with $100. That's the initial values, the one that the amount that you have from the beginning. So that is the principal. So we can identify which number represents which. Then that would be, then the rest should be an easy part. Yes, so we're gonna plug it in. So I saw some of you kind of put it in, but we're not gonna use the percent. What we do is we don't use the percent in the equation. We're gonna convert percent to decimal. So 6% is equivalent to 0.06. So that's the one that I'm gonna use. So in here I have I, right? So I'm gonna P times R times T. So P is 100, R is 0.06, T is 6 months. So I plug it in. Okay, I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna wait for you to ask me a question, like digest that information, ask me a question on the numbers that you see, or give me a thumbs up on the chat like I'm good, so we can move forward. So I'll wait a little bit for you to take notes and ask questions. Okay, so now it's just a matter of you plug it into your calculator and multiply. So when you multiply them across, you get 36. This means you pay, oh, sorry, not pay, because this is a saving account, so you earn $36 after 6 months. So you put $100 in the bank. The interest rate is 6%. So after 6 months, you will earn $36. That is not the case for my saving account right now. The rate is nowhere near 6%. I actually barely have any interest at the end of the year. So I have like a couple dollars. Yeah, so if any of you have a saving account, you probably see that. Yep. So at a certain point, I'm like, forget about saving account. So basically, I'm just having a checking account. But you want to invest your money in something else. When you're making money, when you have a lot of money, or when you start working, you want to start thinking about making some investment. And the saving account, the one that you have in your bank, not that good. It doesn't give you that much money. Okay. So that's the interest. You earn $36 after 6 months. The other question was asking for the balance at the end. Balance means the total money that you have at the end of 6 months. So think about this. You start with $100, right? Then you earn $36 after 6 months, so now your new balance can be $136. So you have $136 total at the end of 6 months. So the balance is different, okay? The balance is the total of money that's including how much you have at the beginning and how much you have plus interest at the end. So interest is how much you pay or how much you earn. The balance is the total of all. From where do I get 36? I'm taking 100. Did I multiply right? 100 times 0.06 times 6. I multiply these three numbers. Did I multiply wrong? Let me check. Then I add the 36 back to how much I have from the beginning, which is $100. Okay, cool. So when you do this, you need to turn the percentage into decimal. Other questions? Okay. Okay, let's do another one. Why is the same thing? Okay, I already did B, the balance, so we can skip this one. Okay, so let's practice. Let's do some part of this. We have the equation. You get 360. More example over here. We need to find the interest. So we're going to practice find the interest. We're not talking about the balance. We're just talking about find interest. We're going to recognize the letter. So here we're going to solve for I, right? For number 1, $1,000 is borrowed for 3 months and 4% simple interest. So we're going to start something simple. Allie, I'm not sure I used that and I got 36. So you want to check your calculator again? Try that again because I got 36 using the same numbers that you have. So I'm not sure why. All right, so in here, we need to recognize because I'm going to find a simple interest. So P is the amount of money that I borrow. T is the time, and R is the percent, but instead of 4%, I need to convert it to decimal. That is mean 4 divided by 100, so that gives you 0.04, and that's the one that I'm going to use. So let's plug it in. P, the equation is P times R times T, right? I know P is 1,000. R is 0.04. T is 3 months. So I can just multiply them. When I put in my calculator, that would give me 120. What that means is you pay, because this one you borrow money. So in this case, you pay 120 after 3 months as interest. You don't pay the whole loan yet. This is just the interest. This is just the extra money that you pay for them. Whoops, I missed a 0. Yes, thank you. Sorry. Okay. So the 120 you pay after 3 months, you pay 120. You only pay the interest. You have not paid off your loan. You're not. You still owe them $1,000. So you want to pay off. That means you have to pay all of them, like $1,000 plus 120 if you want to pay off. If you just pay 120, You just pay the interest, you still owe them $1,000. And you're gonna keep pay every 3 months. 120, 120, 120. Okay? Question for me is for the numbers, anything else, if you saw my mistake, like you did, instead of 1,000, I put down 100, let me know. So we have about 3 minutes left for class. What I'm going to ask you to do, and this is a check-in point, quickly do number 2 and 3. Okay, do 2 and 3. Just write in product. Type it in if you want. You can write in whichever that works for you. Do 2 and 3. Use the example that I just provided for you, and then I'll check in. I will not close this product until tomorrow morning when I start the new one. So you should have time to finish up. Okay. All right. So go ahead and do 2 and 3. Once you are done, just let me know. Then I'll dismiss you a bit early. If not, I will dismiss you guys at 9:30. Okay.